to the Epic Podcast. My name is Diego Bryan. Alongside me, I have my co-host, Benjamin Wartsky.
Hello.
And today we have a guest who's the craziest person we know. Jacob. He's the only person we know who would jump out of a plane with us.
That's true.
So, Alex Mentzer, welcome on.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Alex, and I can jump out of a plane.
So it's more of a being pushed out, really.
Yeah, there's a mutual throw. It was like you got thrown out with consent.
It was like you knew you wanted to get out, but your body wouldn't let you, and the guy was like, well, I'm going to make you. And whew, you're out.
So when did we go skydiving? We went skydiving
Like a month.
It was like November 1st.
It was a while
It wasn't that long
It
ago.
was the beginning of November, I thought.
I don't know when it was. It was a long time ago.
Right.
We meant to do this podcast a while back, and
At least 2 months ago.
we see Mentzer almost every day, and we didn't do this for a long time.
We finally kidnapped him.
That's
Right.
fair.
I say
yeah.
he's been living with us, and we still haven't done a podcast. But yeah, so we all jumped out of a plane. For my birthday, my parents were like, "Hey, we want to throw you out of an airplane." I was like, "Cool." They're like, "You should get some friends to do it." And the only friend that we convince, or the only friend that Diego could convince that would be stupid enough to jump out of a plane, was Mentzer. And I think everyone enjoyed it. I had a good time. I would do it again.
Yeah, I'd for sure do it again.
I had an awesome time. I would definitely do it again.
It just was. I don't know what I was expecting, and now because we're doing this so after the fact, it's like, do I even remember skydiving? No, not really.
I remember watching the video of me skydiving like 100 times.
I'll say, unlike you guys, I do think I recall the
Yeah,
skydiving
you
experience
remember it?
pretty
You didn't go
well.
into shock?
What?
You didn't go into shock?
Not really. I mean, after like the first, as soon as you get pushed out, like it's like, whoa, this is.
Right.
But it's like, I mean, what are you gonna do once you're falling?
Just climb up into the
I mean,
plane.
yeah, you don't even have time to be like shocked. I'd say.
Right. Yeah, I'll say my body didn't even recognize that I was out of the airplane until we were a good like 5 seconds clear of the airplane. But like, I wasn't scared. I like the other two, I think, were more nervous about it than I was
Before.
Right. And then like when I was in the air, I still wasn't nervous. Then he opened the door and I was like, oh my God. It's like, I am about to jump out of this airplane. I was not prepared for that part. And so like we all had little GoPros strapped to our arms.
Yeah.
And so in the video, you can see me like just instinctively just grab onto the side of the airplane. He had like ripped my arm down and just like pry my fingers off the wall because he said, you're jumping out of this airplane, whether you want to or not.
That's actually the only thing I remember, because before going up, he was like, make sure you have your arm out pointing at you so you get a good video.
Right.
And so then I was like, okay, I open the door, or I don't open the door, I get out of the door, I have my wrist forward, and then we're not in the airplane. Like, I don't remember a single thing.
Honestly, that just might be you though. I don't think that's normal.
Even in the video though, like I'm like falling, and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, and then I start like, this is awesome. But like, it took me a while to recognize it.
Yeah, I don't know.
This
Mine was
awesome.
pretty cool. The way my guy threw me out, we hit a couple of flips before we stabilized. And he was like, he kept yelling at me to like do the banana thing and get my legs between his. And I was like, nah, let's flip in. Let's keep flipping for a little bit. Try to hit that quadruple front flip. What else am I going to do with quadruple front flip? You know?
Yeah, we also did some flips. I was actually meant to ask him if we could do more flips, but like once the parachute was open, I wanted to do some flips.
How about that? It turned out well. You probably can do some crazy stuff in those parachutes.
Yeah, I think we got like the lame version of it because they're trying to keep us safe or whatever.
I'm gonna pay like another $100 and I'm gonna see what they do to me then. You're gonna throw me out first, then dive and catch me,
and like strap you in the air.
Oh my God,
that'd be pretty wild.
That would be crazy. I just want to be hooked in by one strap. That's what I want.
I mean, at no point was I ever like, man, I'm scared. That I was gonna fall off of my dude.
No.
They did a good job. We went to
Piedmont Skydiving.
Piedmont Skydiving. Thank you. Shout out Groupon hooking us up.
It's kind of funny because we were joking about it being like this little shack place, rinky-dink place, and then we get there and it's actually this little shack place.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how they, just from the looks of them, I don't know how many people go there, but they must stay
license do they have to have?
I don't know, just like a fun license.
Yeah,
just by themselves.
I mean, they literally just like bought a storage shed, put a window in it, so it's like a front office thing.
Yep.
And then have a little, I don't know, what is that, like a cover thing? It wasn't like
Like
a
an
full,
awning.
yeah, like an awning thing.
I mean, you don't. I think for like like we could set up a skydiving operation.
Yeah.
I'll say it'd be difficult as none of us are certified in both a pilot or a license. But that's all you need. As long as you have one pilot and one jumper other
So
person.
the pilot, easy money. I can have that. I got a pilot here, 20 minutes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I forgot that Mentzer's
I got
dad
pilots
is
on deck.
he's like the number one pilot in the world or something like that.
I mean, I just know some pilots.
Okay, look, so we got that down. So then one of the three of us, or all three of us, just have to get certified, and we're good to go. Then we can open it. We can open it out of NC State. We can be the NC State skydiving club.
The unit, yeah.
Yeah, we can be the people that like parachute into games. That could be us three.
Oh, that would be,
That'd be so sick.
so
So like we wouldn't tell anyone beforehand. We just do it.
Yeah,
every
do like in
game.
the middle of like a baseball game. Like try to parachute into PNC.
Get stuck in the
We literally
arena.
leave this one panel open.
Like squeeze through.
Dude, how do we make our parachute tinier? What do we do?
Just fall like a rock onto the ice. Yeah, that would not work out. very
I
well.
don't think that would
I mean,
go.
if we could get NC State to pay for our parachutes, that'd be the most ideal thing.
Right, we'd have to like
Yeah.
offer
Those
some
are
sort
so
of.
expensive.
Yeah, we'd say like, look, we'll wear NC State clothing as we parachute.
Sure, I already did that. I can show them my video.
Yeah, there you go. Look, we're already repping you. You just gotta compensate me for going
true.
skydiving and
Yeah.
name.
I went skydiving for you, so you have to pay me back now. You owe me $180.
yeah, I just like thinking back on it, just because the free fall was like, what do we calculate? It was like 30 seconds. Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 30 seconds.
It flew by.
Oh, yeah, it felt like 2 seconds.
Right, I agree. Like we flew out. I was looking at the ground. I was like, "Man, we're not pulling the parachute." And then he pulled the parachute, and that was actually the most uncomfortable part was when he pulled the parachute at first because you're like all tight, and then he like releases the straps, and then it gets a little better.
Yeah.
And then my guy was doing like. He said, "Do you like roller coasters?" I was like, "Yeah." And so then he was pulling the straps on the side to like the parachute go in, and we were like, it was like we were at the top of the hill, and then we were like go downward like that, and then we were like, it was like I was riding a roller coaster.
Okay, me and Ben had the same instructor. He asked me the same thing. He's like, "You like roller coasters?" And I'm like, "No." And we did the exact same thing.
That's funny.
I guess it really didn't matter what your answer was.
It's true. I mean, I think maybe I would hope that he would do it less if you said he did
Maybe,
like
I
roller
don't know.
coasters. But
I mean, also, he has all control.
it's true. Yeah, he can do whatever he wants.
He can ask you any questions and still do anything. You assign your life to him,
It's just an
basically.
interview, really, for him. He doesn't care what your answer is.
Yeah. It's just like banter that he does. I would say like the video that they made, I wasn't a huge fan of how they did that. How they're like, I don't know, they're like, "Hey, you ready to go skydiving?" When they're like holding the GoPro in your face. And then like as you're going up, they're like, "Are you ready to jump out?" And then 2 seconds later, they're like, "Hey, we're 2 seconds close. You ready to jump out now?" And
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I feel
guess.
like all the skydiving videos are like that, from what I've seen. I watched a lot of skydiving videos before leading up to this.
Yeah, I don't really know what I would expect or want out of a skydiving
I mean,
video.
if they just didn't talk and they just recorded, I'd be okay with that.
I mean, the only part I care about from the video is the free fall.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the only cool part, I would say.
I disagree. Me talking is pretty cool.
That's when Mentzer like releases the video. It's just the before shot.
He's like, "Hey, you ready to go skydiving?" He's like, "Hold on." He like whips out a monologue.
It's like I prepared for this. But yeah, so that was fun. I would definitely do that again. It just happened so long ago. I just wish we had got more of an immediate reaction. We just kind of delayed on this. But I will say, oh wait, no, I was going to say on the way to and from the skydiving, we had many interesting conversations, but I'm actually mixing that up with our drive to and from App because the three of us all went up to App when Diego and I did those podcasts up there. Mentzer drove us there, and it felt like we were doing that's like when I was like, okay, Mentzer would be a great guest on the podcast because there's no radio. We didn't turn on the radio once the entire trip. On the way there, on the way back, we played some Christian gospel for a little bit. Then I don't know if we turned it off. I think we turned it off, but I was just like we were just talking like for however long, like 3 hours, 2 hours, I don't know, straight. And I was like, oh, okay, good. Some of this we should translate over to the podcast. And so one thing that most people might not know about Mentzer. Mentzer believes in something that I would say is not held by the popular majority. I'm going to let him introduce it because I don't want to spoil it for anyone out there. I'll say this belief is just awesome. I really like that you have this belief.
Okay, so a couple years back, I'm sitting on my bed watching TV, and I look over, and this thing on my TV, this channel pops up, and I'm like, that looks sweet. So I start watching it, and this show institutes that mermaids are real, and like it just honestly, after watching the hour-long documentary on why mermaids are real, like 100%, there's no chance they're not real. like as I told Ben and Diego, it's not like there's little Ben and Diegos underwater like cooking and building houses. It's just like mermaids are like more like the concept of like intelligent life in the water. And I don't know how deep that is, but it is pretty. I mean, I agree with it.
I guess when you explain it that way, it makes more sense that there could be some sort of intelligent life underwater.
Yeah, you're not saying that there's like an aerial.
I'm not saying there's an aerial, but I'm saying there is something that I think we could communicate with.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that definition of mermaid better. I'll say I would have an easier time believing that than like an aerial or like Ursula.
I mean, I'm not saying any mermaids are jumping out and walking around with us. I'm down.
That would be wild if that were the case. We were talking about that, and that's so cool. I feel like not many people have those, like not many people who I would say are like sane that I know of, like have like that belief that you're like that is just that's out of the ordinary. I feel like everyone kind of has like the similar beliefs. You don't hear anyone saying, "Oh, Bigfoot. I believe wholeheartedly in Bigfoot."
See, on that one, my dad's friend, the one I just played golf with the other day, 100%. Loves Bigfoot, believes in him. He like grew up in Alabama, and he swears he's seen him before. And he is like the biggest Bigfoot like conspirator
Does he like go look for Bigfoot?
No, he doesn't do that. I don't know if his wife would approve, but like he loves the idea of Bigfoot, and like I think he wants Bigfoot to be real more than almost anyone else. Like, yeah, he would love to find out that there was a Bigfoot.
I just feel like they had a show that was called like Chasing Bigfoot.
I watched a lot of Bigfoot shows.
Yeah,
and it's not because I want them to be real, but I don't know. It's just interesting.
I think all of those. All the mystical creatures I think are interesting. All the lore. Yeah. I find those really cool. I mean, I think there's just so many of them that one of them might have some
I think
truth to it.
The best conclusion I've heard for Bigfoot is that there's this monkey, and it's called a Gigantopithecus, and
where are you pulling this from?
I know a lot. I watched a lot of Bigfoot shows. And so there's this monkey called a Gigantopithecus, and they found its bones, and they think it was like 10 feet tall, and it lived during the age of humans.
Okay.
And so they think like humans used to come across these gigantic monkey things, and that started Bigfoot, and then it just kind of carried on throughout the human race.
Well, I know there's been like a lot of like fake stuff about Bigfoot, like a lot of the images that are like, oh, this proves Bigfoot's real. I think a lot of those, much like a lot of conspiracy theories, have come out to be.
I mean, there's that classic video of him, and he like looks at the camera, and then he turns away, and the footage is like really, really old. And I think that was like the first Bigfoot video.
Has that been? I don't know if that specific one has been turned out to be fake. I just know that
they can't tell. It's like the Loch Ness monster.
So what I can tell you, the mermaid videos are much tougher to fake.
Really?
That's why I believe in them even more.
How many mermaid videos are there? In that documentary, did they show you some mermaid videos?
They show you at least 4.
Okay.
And one is like they're in like Scotland, and there's these people like on like they're looking down from like a huge cliff, and on a rock is like a thing like laying out on the rock. And then it's like once they start to zoom in, the thing like looks up and like takes off into the water. Now, I don't know if that one's faked, but I'd say that one probably be the easiest to fake out of all of them. But then there's another one where it's at the bottom of an oil rig, and there's like a little fish swimming across, and it's a fixed camera because it's just like the camera's just focused on like the oil rig.
Okay.
And across the screen goes a spear, and then you can see like a fish or some type of creature swim across to get his like his prey. So
What?
So a predator throws a spear at a prey underwater pretty fast. Faster than I could. So, I don't know.
I would say that would be really cool if mermaids came out. And then on the same conversation, we were like, well, although mermaids haven't been proven to exist, giant squids have been proven to exist. And then we were looking up giant squid facts, and those things are just absolutely wild.
Yeah, those things are crazy.
I mean, giant squids, they're just so big. Like, it's just, they're like almost incomprehensibly big. And I don't remember any of the facts we looked up, but I'll say that they were just
Like 40 feet or
Yeah,
something?
something ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like at least one school bus long.
Yeah,
That's just insane.
that's just crazy.
And they just like float around, and people kill them though.
Yeah, people kill them.
I don't know if I don't think we found enough of them for them to go extinct, but I mean, they're there.
But that's definitely where the Kraken came from, right?
I do believe that is where the Kraken came from.
I do, yeah.
Because it's just they probably saw it under the boat and they're like, oh god, this thing could eat the boat if it wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't know if a giant squid has ever taken down a boat. I feel like that would be pretty tough.
Well, I feel like they're more deep sea.
Right. So if it's a submarine, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that'd be crazy.
Terrifying.
That would be the scariest thing in the world. Now, what I've heard is that sperm whales, like giant sperm whales, and squids, like the giant squids, will like fight. And like if you look at like the giant whales that are like dead that they find in the ocean, like there is like tentacle markings like all along the sides.
That's crazy.
From, like
They're bullying.
no, yeah, from when they like battle it out.
They run the sea.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
That's awesome.
I know. I would love to be like front row seat to that
I'd say
fight.
if I could be guaranteed not to get in the way of them, because that's like two things that I don't want to have anything to do with either one of
I'm saying
those.
you want to be like a mile away just to
I'm
watch.
saying, yeah, but they're like a mile long. They'll like flip over and I'll be dead accidentally. That'd be scary. If you're like on a boat, you see a giant squid jump out of the water, and then a sperm whale's like land on top of it, like RKOing it. That'd be pretty wild.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
I don't know how you'd start to see one of those, though.
I mean,
I guess you'd have to be in a submarine.
and that would be.
There's no tank big enough for that.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. There's some big submarines. I don't know.
Oh goodness. I mean, I think I've been in a submarine one time or two times.
I've never been in a submarine.
I don't think I've ever been in a submarine that's like been underwater.
okay.
I'm saying like I've gone into a submarine. They're
I
just,
see.
Not like
they're
a
just
museum.
so cramped.
Yeah.
I think I went into one. I don't know if Pearl Harbor has submarines you can go into, but I want to say Pearl Harbor off the
You have
bat.
literally been everywhere.
That's true.
It's not true. I have been to Pearl Harbor.
That's crazy.
That's pretty cool. They have like a cool memorial there.
I'm sure.
Obviously, I'm saying like the memorial that they have built is pretty cool. The one I don't know which one it is, unfortunately, but it's like open. It's like this big open square, and you walk through it. It has all the names and all the ships. You can see them underwater. You're like walking right over them. It's pretty cool. Were there submarines in Pearl Harbor? Probably. Maybe
It was like a
Pearl Harbor.
Navy.
Yeah,
Navy
so I imagine they have to have submarines.
I'm sure. That'd just be so scary. Like you're just doing nothing, and then hundreds of Japanese planes come over.
Yeah, I mean, Pearl Harbor was. It's just a terrible. I don't know much to say about it besides the year. I mean, yes, it would be terrifying, but you could say that about anything. Like if hundreds of Japanese planes flew over us now, that'd be pretty scary. I don't know.
It'd be a good surprise attack.
It would be very surprising.
Catch me off guard.
So the three of us would not do much in the way of defense.
Our Raleigh army would not appreciate that. I don't know where they'd come from. I don't know who would help us. That would be bad.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't know what Raleigh would hold for them.
We don't even have snowplows.
I agree. Raleigh's actually
I don't
just
know if
uses
Japanese people are looking for snowplows. We want all your snowplows. I don't think that's their goal.
That's our closest thing to the tank, I think.
Yeah, probably.
And we don't even have that.
School buses, maybe school buses could be used in a tank.
That'd be the worst thing of all time.
I don't know. I don't know what everyday. Maybe Alex's roommate Nick, his car could be used as a tank. I think we could use that.
Nick's car probably could be used as a tank. Yeah,
as you could just bowl over people.
I mean, it is like one of these like security detail cars.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean, is it actually like used as a security detail?
I don't know. Probably could
I
look
think
that
it
up.
is, but I mean, obviously the windows would be bulletproofed and
Right.
Yeah, I'll have to shoot into his window while he's driving just to see if it's
How
bulletproof.
many how many shots does a bulletproof window take before it shatters? Is it like unlimited shots? Like, can I like take like?
No, but it's a lot.
It's a lot of shots.
Is it like
And it's
pistol
not all
rounds or is
bullets
it? Okay,
either,
that's what I was
like-
gonna say. It's like if I have like one of those mounted guns, I feel like I could get through any window.
I mean, if
wanted
you shot
to.
in like the same spot, it would break way faster than if you shot in like
a bunch of different
spots.
Well, it's not just the window, right? Don't they also like bulletproof? They bulletproof the entire car.
Yeah.
I assume like the doors too, and like, yeah. Can you just buy one of those? Is that possible just to get bulletproof glass on
I'm
any
sure
car?
you can install it. I don't know if you could buy
Like
it.
legally, you don't
Yeah.
think it's like a legal thing to get?
I'm sure you could buy it because like so many people have bulletproof cars. Like the
Do they?
commissioner of the NFL, when he came to my high school, like he drove in a convoy of like 6.
Right, but he's like a
bulletproof
famous
cars.
person. I'm saying like, can an everyday person just get a bulletproof car?
I mean, you have to have the money for it.
Is it expensive? I'm assuming it's
I would
expensive.
venture to say it's very expensive.
Speaking of this, I learned this today. My grandma is balling out of control, and she has friends that are also balling out of control. It's so crazy. She was telling me about this friend she has in Guatemala, and it's annoying to hang out with her because everywhere her friend goes, she travels in a 3 brand new Tahoe convoy, 3-car convoy in Guatemala, and it's because she's also mega rich in Guatemala, and she's been kidnapped twice or something like that. So that's why she carries around this convoy. And so she switches cars, whichever one she'll be in, and I was like, who are these friends my grandma knows? Like,
She's just trying to go to tea. Just
Also,
gets kidnapped.
You tell that friend if she needs a dog sitter, I can watch some dogs.
you'll go to Guatemala to watch some dogs.
Yes.
I'll say it'd probably actually be financially worth it to travel to Guatemala to watch it.
Yeah.
Also,
for
if you
sure.
need someone to watch her house while Mentzer watches the dogs, I can watch a house.
I'm sure she has like multiple houses.
Okay, look, man, we can get jobs for more people. That's fine.
I'm saying she can single-handedly provide 50 jobs. And I'm down to take one of those. Or 50 of them. Whichever
Whatever
one
it
works,
is.
yeah.
I don't understand house sittings, but I just saying that reminded me of it. I just don't know, why is that a job? Why do people
House
pay
sitting?
other people to watch their houses?
I agree. I don't know. It's like a rich people thing.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I don't want my house to be lonely. Can you watch it?
Yeah.
Like, have either of you house sat?
No,
I've never house sat. Does Preston's family have people house
I
sit?
don't think they do.
I see people on my Snapchat story, and it's always the rich people, and they're like, just house sitting. And it's like, that's not a real job. I hate that you can like live in this person's gigantic house for a week.
I say that would be pretty cool if you could like coordinate that with spring break. That'd be fun.
That'd be
I'll
cool.
say now,
I
if
don't
they
know
came
how
back
many people
early,
yeah.
they would not like that per se.
I don't know. I'd be scared to like mess anything up in
Oh
a
yeah,
expensive house.
Do you live there? Or you just go? I thought you commuted. That's my understanding.
No,
house sitting.
you
Like,
commute,
you
but
like live in your own house and you drive to this house and sit there to make sure no one robs it or something like that.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I just don't
really.
understand what.
Like I
house-
feel like even just if the family had like multiple cars, just parking one out in the driveway is like enough security.
I think maybe it depends on the neighborhood that you sit in or you live in. Not you don't sit, but regardless. Speaking of nice houses, recently, yesterday actually, I just got back from the place where Mentzer hails originally. Right? You're originally from Pensacola.
No, I'm not originally from
Okay, where are
Pensacola.
you originally from? Okay, we actually forgot to say this in the intro. Mentzer's from everywhere.
It's true.
You live.
My parents
Okay,
live
yes,
in
yeah, I'll just let you-
Pensacola, Florida.
Okay,
But I went to high school in Hickory, North Carolina.
right.
And I was born in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
Which, yeah, Pensacola and Jacksonville are both in Florida, but they are 7 hours away.
Oh, Jesus.
So, like, they're basically in different states.
Right. And so those are the 3 locations. But you've lived in you've lived in multiple places
yeah.
besides that, right?
Yeah, I've lived, because I also lived in Virginia, and I was like a baby when we lived in Texas, and I went to kindergarten in Maine.
Maine.
In Maine. Yeah.
It's a cold kindergarten.
But I'll tell you, they have snowplows. they have all the snowplows.
That's why we don't have any, because they took them all.
Yeah, they took all of them. I'm saying, like, when you walk out of your house and the snow is taller than you, of course, I was like 3.5 feet tall.
Still a lot of
That's a
snow.
lot of snow.
Just walk out like, where did Alex go? That's just like your hand.
Hey, Dad.
Okay, so Maine, and what after Maine?
So like Jacksonville is a pretty big like Navy base. My dad was in the Navy, that's why I moved around so much. And so like they just have like so much area. So like I lived in 3 different areas of Jacksonville, 3 different times.
Okay.
So like we would always like move back to Jacksonville for like
Gotcha.
intermission years or something like that.
Like before you moved out again.
Yeah,
And now
or
your
like
dad,
something like that.
Your dad has retired, right?
He has retired and now he just trains people to fly for the military, but
Okay.
actually all militaries, not just ours. He said he'll have like Afghanistan people come in, like French guys, like
Really?
like the militaries from all over the world have contracts with our military to train their pilots at our like training base because it's like such a good base, I guess.
Cool. I mean, that's cool that he's like, is he the head honcho or is he like just one of
He's just one of the little bees.
Is he trying to work his way up to be the head honcho?
There's not really a head honcho per se. I mean, I guess there is, but it's like, so the training people, it's like they have a civilian contract with the military. So it's like he works for this company that like hires people. So he doesn't work for the Navy. He works for this company that's hired by the Navy. So the Navy pays this company.
Okay,
This company pays them.
Right.
And then, I mean, I don't know. Just like a lot of people have the same job as him. I mean, it's a pretty good job.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like
just because it's such a specialty like thing.
Yeah, like if you know how to do it, then I'm sure he sees. Does he tell you stories about terrible pilots that he's seen?
Yeah. He said some people will just like have breakdowns because like he said he's one of the nicer guys. Shockingly, he tells me this. I disagree, but he says that he's he goes easier on the people usually, but because I mean some people just go really hard because I mean if you get trained badly, things could end very badly.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know. I think they start off really hard because they start off training in the simulator. Then my dad, and like the people he works with don't train them in the actual plane.
Okay.
So then they go to the plane, then they come back, and like once they come back, they're like more experienced, I think.
Right.
So
It'd be cool. I'd like to learn how to fly a plane. I mean, I'd like to learn a lot of things. This is probably one of the ones that I will never come to fruition. But I think it'd be cool to learn how to fly like I'm assuming they're flying like jets. And what are they? Is it helicopter? I don't know.
yeah, there's a helicopter section and then like a plane section.
And he does both of them?
No, there's helo pilots and then there's the.
So which one is he?
He's the plane.
He's the plane.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I think he can fly a helicopter though.
Really?
Yeah, because he was at a helicopter. He like. Because like in the Navy, there's just like a bunch of different like groups that you get sent to.
Right.
And he was in a helicopter one at one point.
Right.
So I feel like he probably like not maybe not like his best driving, but
Right.
he probably can.
I wonder how similar it is to go from like a helicopter to like. I'm sure the helicopter and a plane are totally different because one is you live vertical, the other one you have to like take off horizontal.
So I've flown
almost.
the plane in the simulator, and I actually don't think that's that hard.
No, not bad at all?
I think like, if my
Yeah.
plane started going down, I could save us.
Really?
Yes, it's not landing. Is that actually the worst thing? Like you would think, but I mean I don't know.
You landed?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did
okay.
you? Where is it? You were telling me you kept crashing into the side of a cliff. Is that?
Well, yeah, it's because my dad made me fly inside of the Grand Canyon, like in the Grand Canyon. So it's like you have like zero room to work with, and you're doing like flips just to get through like the crevices. I mean, it's cool. It's really cool.
Is that like? Does he use that for training, or is he just doing that for fun?
Yeah, he uses that for like everything. Yeah.
The Grand Canyon. That'd be a terrible place to fly.
So you could be like an expert pilot.
Yeah, my
Just
dad
like,
could like.
like if you picked up an airplane and just started driving, you actually might.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm saying
Do
like
well.
over the summer, if I wanted like my dad to teach me how to fly for real, like he could.
Yeah.
Like after like a week and a half, I could be a very average pilot, I would say.
That'd be pretty awesome. If you could just like whip that out. Just like I
Yeah.
don't know when you'd have the chance. Just you see
Yeah.
that plane right there. You watch this. Jump
So
into
you
it.
go skydiving, let me get it. I got you, dog.
You trade places with the pilot.
It's like here's my flight license. It's like I can fly. It's
Like
just like
crown.
a $20 bill.
He's like, I guess.
It's like
So when we went up, our pilot also had a not a life jacket.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whatever. It's like if you had a life jacket, that'd not be very
I
effective
wish he
for
would have
him.
jumped out first. That would have been my favorite.
If it turned into the skydiving, it was like
An
flight
actual
lesson.
abort mission.
I don't know what we would. I mean, as you said, I think I don't know if I could land a plane. I feel like I could figure out one way is to go down, one way is to go up, and I think I could keep us level.
Well, a lot of thing is how you change the rudders. to like accept the wind.
Okay.
So it's like because both the rudders are on the side,
Right.
so it's like they're typically sitting like this, but like whenever you need to land, you have to like tilt them up to like
Slow your plane down.
slow down and get some
Right.
wind, and you like turn the engine down.
Right.
So then it's like at one point, like after you do that, like you can like turn the engine off if you wanted, and then you would like glide down. I mean, you would hit hard once you got to the bottom,
Right.
but you would more like glide down.
See, that'd be good until like the rudders like snap off, and then you have no way of slowing down, and then you're like,
I mean, they're built to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, probably too for like a professional up to a certain point, but I feel
Right.
like me and my
I could definitely crash landing a plane for sure.
Yeah,
Like my dad said that like the tiny planes that like the ones we took, he said those ones like if we were up in the sky and it just died, he said for like every 1,000 feet in the air we could glide 4 miles.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, because I mean we're also going pretty fast.
Yeah, right.
But
yeah.
I mean, he said like it's like if the engine turned off, we would just. He said it would be a very gradual like go down. Like that wouldn't even be a crash landing in that plane. He said in like the little tiny planes, but like a bigger plane, it'd be different because it just has so much more stuff in
Right.
it.
Well, it's just heavier.
Right.
That's like just thinking about how planes fly is just crazy. That we have these things that are, I don't know how heavy they are. I'm sure they're like tons and tons.
Yeah, like 70 tons.
Yeah, and it's just that we can like fly those in the air, and that we're just transporting people all over the globe. It's just cool to think about. Like, so yesterday when we were flying back, I went to Florida. Is what this originally started as, and like I looked out of the window and I was like, oh, that's Wilmington, and then I was like, man, that takes us 2 hours to drive, but I'll be home in like
15 minutes.
Yeah, it's just cool to
That is cool.
to look at all the lights. I think I could see Christmas lights from the plane. I think that's what they were. I was trying to figure out what all the lights. There's so many flashing lights. I don't know what those were. All over the city, all over North Carolina, just all these flashing lights. I didn't know what those were. And then there's like spots of color, and I figured that those were the neighborhoods where people had Christmas
Did you
lights.
fly back during the daytime or at night?
At nighttime.
Okay.
So I went to Florida with my family over Christmas break in order to bike the Keys of
You had a
Florida.
tan.
Yeah, I got the biker's tan. My legs are pretty bad. Like cut off at we were wearing like the traditional biker garb, as you will. I've been saying that way too much, as you will. But so it was like the compression shorts with like the padded butt, so you could stay in the saddle longer. And like my dad gave me his biker shirt, so I looked super professional. I was not a professional at all. I'd say it went pretty well. We biked 30 miles ish a day, and overall I'd say I was happy with how it turned out. I was the only one in my family there's only one crash, and it was me. I was telling Mentzer this last night, and we were pedaling along, and then like we were on the bike path, and
Is there a bike path throughout the entire Keys?
not throughout the entire Keys. There's a bike path whenever okay, so what would happen is they'd have these big signs like bike path here, and we'd get on the bike path, and then it would stop like 3 feet later. And so we just kind of said, we don't really want to take the bike paths because they don't seem to be effective. But the shoulders on the road were pretty wide, much wider than here actually. And so we would just all bike in like a single file line through the roads because there's only one road in the Keys pretty much. You only have one way in, one way out. Anyways, so we were biking along. This is one of the times when we took a bike path, and there's one of these metal poles that like keep cars, like so only bikes could get to the path. The path. Like I don't know how to describe it besides just a big metal pole. And so like these are not all over the place, but they had them every couple feet. At certain sections. And so at one point we passed a metal pole. I said, okay, past the metal pole. There's a cop car to our left. It was parked in the grass, it had his lights on. I turned to look at it. And as I turned to look at it, I'm suddenly no longer on my bike. And it all happened so quickly. And so I'm like in the air, I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Then I hit the ground, I roll a little bit. I get up, I try and get right back on my bike. And everyone's like, whoa, calm down.
Was the bike okay and everything?
Yeah, the bike was fine. My dad said he's surprised that I didn't taco the wheel, which is where you like compress the wheel and it looks like a taco. Yeah. But he says he thinks because I hit the pole like dead on, because I actually did not see the pole at all. It's not like I was like trying to avoid the pole and I happened to hit it. I just no memory of this pole.
Yeah.
And he says because I hit it straight on, I think he thinks that the wheel compressed enough, and I like shook the frame, but it was okay. Everything was okay. I got some like my elbows kind of messed up, my shoulders kind of messed up.
What would you have done if?
I don't know. I don't know what we would have done.
I'm saying you would have had a long run. I'm saying marathon time.
Yes, I'd say those 30 miles that I said were pretty easy would be very hard.
we would have a dead friend in front of us.
You'd have a very fit friend. One of those
That's
two.
True.
Dead or very fit.
That's true. Probably both. I don't even know how that would work.
Yeah, like my thumb was all bruised up, so I couldn't like hold on.
2016's been a tough year for you and falling.
That's true. Fall out of a plane. Fall off your bike.
Fall off the cliff.
Fall off the cliff at Ab. Yeah, many things have gone wrong in 2016. But yeah, so the trip was cool. We saw we went to like this gator area.
What was that? Was that just like off the side of the bike? There was specifically.
We went. That was the first day, and that was like to try like get an introduction into the biking. I don't remember what it was. It was like the Glades National Park or something like that. So like biked to the Everglades, and then on the path there was wildlife, and that wildlife pretty much solely consisted of alligators. And they were pretty cool.
I'm not a fan of that.
I mean, it was we were like trying to get close to them, like take pictures with them.
Oh God.
I don't know. They seemed pretty peaceful. They just wanted to tan. And then if they didn't like us, then they would just scuttle back into the water. I guess scuttle's not the right word, but I'm sure you've seen your fair share of alligators. No? Are there no alligators up in Pensacola or in Jacksonville?
Not really in Pensacola. Some in Jacksonville. I mean, one time I saw like a gigantic alligator.
How big is a gigantic alligator?
I mean, it was 12 feet long.
12 feet long.
Only because I lived in this neighborhood, and it was a pretty crappy neighborhood. But like, so right before we moved, everybody found out that there was this alligator that lived in like the man-made pond in the neighborhood. So what they did is they brought a live chicken, and they threw it into the pond to try to get the alligator out, I guess, and catch it. And the alligator chokes on the chicken and dies. By eating it whole. Takes no bites, goes straight in his throat, and he dies. And I'm saying longest thing ever. Like, I'm saying this thing is longer than most cars. It's so
how'd they get it out? The tow truck?
Probably. I don't even know. Cut it into like 10 different pieces. I don't even know.
Well, I'll say the alligators that we were seeing were like maybe my arm length. They're not super big.
Babies.
Yeah, and most of them, their tail was facing the road, so we didn't find that scary. The ones that were like their head facing the road, those were the prime picture spots because you got to get like right in front of them, like
you're on his back. You're right out here.
We got a big one.
Yeah, I think like because of Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin, is that his name?
Yeah.
I think I don't know what to do. You just got to hold down the neck area so they can't turn around. Mm-hmm. I'm saying if you let go of that neck area though, dead.
Yeah.
You lose an arm maybe.
It's true.
But it was a cool place, and I would say like that was probably the toughest biking that we did. That was 16 miles. And that was the toughest biking I think we did the entire trip because it was so flat, super straight. But just the bikes are just not good. They're just like
you had different bikes during each race?
No.
Stupid.
only on the first day. So the first day, we flew in, and immediately after we flew in, we got in a car, drove like an hour to wherever this Glades Park was, and we got there at 3 maybe, and then it closes. The bike rental place closes at 5, so we had 2 hours, and they said it usually takes around 2 to 3 hours to bike around this entire thing. And so these bikes are not made; they're made for like leisurely biking. And so like we biked 8 miles there, and it was like, I don't know, it was like 4 or something. And we were like, man, we have to book it on the way back. So on the way back, like we were like riding in formation, we were like streamlining, and there's like all these people, they're just like lackadaisically just like riding around, and we just flew past them. And that was that. I was like sweating, and we were biking into the wind. It was just, and there's no alligators on the way back either. Like we saw I'd say like 50 alligators on the way there. No, 0 alligators on the way back.
That's crazy.
That was kind of disappointing.
So when you biked around that, did you take the bike back to the same spot where you got the bike?
For that one. And then we left and then drove to, that was Fort Lauderdale. We drove down. Then we drove to this smoothie place, which my dad had heard of. It's just like we drove an hour to go find this smoothie place. It's like this fresh market. It's called, It's like Bob's Fresh Market or something like that.
Simple enough.
And the smoothie was good. I really enjoyed it. My mom bought some dragonberry fruit, and some ugly fruit.
Yeah.
That's the name of it?
Yeah.
Ugly fruit.
And both of them were like pretty good. And on the first day we stayed at did we stay at a nice hotel? No, I don't think we stayed at like a kind of like a lower tier hotel. Didn't have Wi-Fi.
Didn't have beds.
No beds. We just slept on mats on the floor.
Yeah, that sucks. Hotels are the worst.
And then the next day, then we drove and we got our bike rentals. And from there, those were the bikes that we had for the remainder of the trip.
Interesting. So when you bike like that, do you have all your stuff on your bike also?
Yes. So that was one thing. So we didn't.
All your luggage was on your bike?
Correct. So we didn't. I packed one bag.
Like a backpack?
I packed like that my blue.
Oh yeah. Like
duffel
gym bag.
Yeah. I packed that. I pretty much just stuffed it full of clothes. Turns out I wouldn't have needed. I could have fit everything I wore in a backpack for sure, like easily.
And then just worn that while you ride.
Yeah, I mean that's what my mom did because my mom brought her laptop. But we had saddlebags. We put saddlebags on the back of the bike, and we filled both of those with clothes and electronics and books and whatever else we needed. And we biked around like that. I mean, we looked like we were moving. We were doing some good things over there, I'd say. Everyone in my family did it pretty easily because we had a tailwind of 12 to 15 miles an hour, which is crazy. Like that was probably the single greatest thing that happened on that trip was the fact that we, like, without pedaling, if I just like sat up on my bike, I would get pushed.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much. Like if I gave a pedal every couple of feet, I could have made it down. It would have taken a lot longer,
right.
But like pretty easily I could have biked without
the wind wanted you to keep
I'm saying
biking.
the wind was not letting me stop. Now,
That's so nice.
Now, when we would turn around, it was terrible. Like anytime we had to turn around and bike back, I swear I was moving backwards. Like the wind again was pushing me just in the wrong direction this time. So if we had to bike back out of the Keys, taking another 6 days, 7 days, maybe.
It would have doubled your time?
Yeah, no, for sure. Because we were going like 14 miles an hour. My dad, like, of course, he calculated how fast we were going on average because, I don't know, that's
He's
just
a
what
bike nerd.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Dad move, yeah.
I mean, he just has this little tracker that like tracks everything because he cares about his bike stats. I'll say I don't care about my bike stats.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't he have something that like tracks his like knee position?
Yeah,
or something like that.
He like puts the stuff on.
No, well, he just like it's like he used his phone as like a camera, and like he would bike in front of the camera, and then like the app would calculate like here's the most efficient way for this is where your knees should be versus here's where your knees are, and he like that's for his biking form.
That's
I guess.
pretty cool.
It's like he brought his own helmet because he doesn't like to wear other people's helmets. So the rest of us just use the standard helmets because we don't care. We're not that picky.
Right.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. The weather was pretty nice. On the day that we stopped biking, when we got to Key West, which was our final stop, the weather was terrible that day. Only that day, and it was storming. We got stuck inside a jewelry shop for, I don't know, like 30 minutes because the weather, we left our hotel, walked down the street a little bit, and we just couldn't move from this jewelry shop because it was just so pouring and we didn't really want to get soaked. Besides that, weather was perfect down there. Makes me not miss the North Carolina weather because the bike is like 80 degrees, nice breeze. It was pretty solid.
I will say here during Christmas wasn't even that bad. Like it was t-shirt weather every single day. Both of you guys left, right? Yeah. So yeah, it was t-shirt weather every single day. It was pretty nice.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just like North Carolina weather. North Carolina weather just doesn't know what they want to do.
Doesn't even know what weather means.
Right. Yeah. Weather means nothing to North Carolina. And so then in like a couple weeks when we're like, oh great, we're done with winter, and then it's gonna snow, and we're gonna be out of school for a couple of days. Hopefully, anyways.
That is the best part about North Carolina is how weak we are to snow.
I agree. Like if there's like a chance of snow, I'd say did you ever experience snow in Florida? Has it snowed in Florida ever? Is that like a thing that happens?
Twice ever. Yeah.
And did they cancel school for like a year?
I probably wasn't. I don't know.
Okay, you don't know.
Neither times while I was there.
Okay. I can't even imagine what would have to happen to snow in Florida. Like I don't know when.
So global warming would have to not be true.
It would have to be the opposite. It would have to be like global cooling.
Global cooling, yeah.
The Ice Age again.
Yeah.
Is this supposed to snow a lot this year?
I think so. I had heard.
It's supposed to be a cold year, I heard.
Probably for me. I think
Oh.
I heard that it's supposed to be like a record year for snow.
Really? I feel like you've told me that.
Right. I think I have
in the past.
Right. You're saying like last year I
about
told you
last
that?
year,
Okay. It's possible. I say I don't know where I read it, so this information could be totally incorrect.
Right.
But I thought it's supposed to be a.
I just don't even know how you tell this far out.
I don't know.
What are you even looking at to figure out the weather
I don't
in 3
understand-
months?
Right.
Like,
I don't even know. Meteorologists get like weather tomorrow wrong. Like
Yeah.
my app, like the weather app that I use, like it updates constantly. So I agree. I don't know how you can predict like, oh yeah, this year looks like there's going to be 25 inches of snow in North Carolina this time. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
yeah.
No clue how weather works.
Weather's somewhat like to be a meteorologist, so you have to take a bunch of physics classes, which I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Like it's so many. I don't know why. I don't know what the physics. Like I don't know. I feel like that's silly, but.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe they use a lot of those type of metrics. I
don't
can't
know what
speak
they're
to that.
doing. Yeah.
Before we finish, I wanted to talk about Christmas because that happened.
Oh yeah, Christmas
And
did
it's
happen.
kind of a big holiday. I think it's my favorite holiday, to be honest.
Yeah. I like New Year's. New Year's is a good holiday. I think that's an underrated holiday. I feel like everyone because
like
everyone's
it's-
so hyped about Christmas, people just kind of like, oh yeah, New Year's will go.
New Year's is more fun when you're older, I think.
I think the fact that like I don't know, you're not going out out for New Year's,
Right.
then it's not going to be as crazy. Like, I know Haley's sister, like the last 2 years, has gone to New York for New Year's.
Holy
So
crap.
it's like that's going to be a lot different than the New Year's we're going to experience.
She went to the ball drop in
I
Times
think
Square.
so. I think she's doing that this year too.
That's crazy.
Raleigh drops an acorn. That's so dumb. to
City
me.
of Oaks. City of Oaks.
How big's the acorn?
It was big.
It's pretty big. I'm going to that.
Are you?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mary and I are headed downtown. I mean, it's like a first night's like a popular thing.
When is it?
Relatively,
It's on New Year's.
It's on New Year's,
I thought
yeah.
you were going to your friend's party.
well, we're going to first night and then we're going to that later. And so yeah.
Wait, the first night?
Yeah,
You're confusing me. What do you mean the first
There's-
night?
there's
New
only
Year's-
one New
There's
Year's
only
night.
one New Year's night.
I know. First night is the name of the thing that happens downtown where they drop the
Oh,
acorn.
that's what it's called.
Yes. I'm sorry.
I don't
I'm sorry.
live here.
That's what I was trying to explain. First night is the
I
name.
do live
is the-
here. Still didn't know
First
that.
night is like the name. Like they have like a bunch of like they have different activities going on all like
All week?
Right. No, just the night of.
Oh.
And then they have like a kids acorn drop. So at 7:00 they drop the acorn for all the kids and like celebrate the new year, and they do like a little fireworks show, and then they raise it back up, and then they redo the drop at midnight, and they do more fireworks. They have like bands, they have
Really?
they have improv comedy stuff, they have street performers. It's a cool time. I've been a few times. My family really like to do it, and they have like vendors down there.
That is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever been to like a New Year's thing that wasn't at someone's house.
Yeah, I mean this one's like put on by the city of Raleigh. It's a pretty good
Yeah,
one.
that's pretty cool.
It's similar to the New York one, but obviously the New York one's on like
A much
massive
larger
scale.
scale.
It's the premier thing in the world, I believe, for New Year's.
That's
Like,
the best night to be an Uber driver. I heard apparently last year they were charging people like hundreds of dollars because it take hours to get out of there because there's so many people. And so
I just wouldn't. Taking an Uber in New York City just wouldn't make sense to me. I just don't know why I would take an Uber.
What would you take?
I mean, I'd just walk, I guess. I think I think that's faster than traffic, probably.
I don't think traffic's as bad as it's like portrayed.
I don't know.
I mean, traffic's bad.
I said that
but,
like people just in New York City just
would you
don't.
rather walk like 6 miles or take a car through traffic?
I don't know. I mean, if the car's costing me hundreds of dollars, I'll take the walk.
That's fair. I don't know.
I suppose.
We're just all cramped in this little city place
Yeah.
in New York.
It's true. Yeah. Tough life. New
I'd
York
definitely
City
like to
people
go to
live.
New York though.
It'd be fun. We can drive up there one time.
Now, me and my sister were arguing about this. Would you rather go to New York during warm months or cold months? Like snow or summer? Like winter or summer?
Warm for me.
I don't know.
I'm actually a little wimp when it comes to cold.
I voted on winter. I just said I think
Really?
I think it would look the coolest in the winter. Like it would
Yeah,
be
because all the snow covers all the trash.
right.
Well, I say in the summer, it's supposed to smell terrible in New York because the heat, like if the super
melts
hot
up
months,
the-
it,
it heats up the stinky
yeah,
stuff.
it like heat, it like it. I don't know, exacerbates is the word that I want to use, but there's a better one. They like enhances the smells of garbage, and so apparently it just smells disgusting in the summer. So that's why I was like, but then the winter it's supposed to be freezing up there. Like, it's terrible. I don't know. Both have benefits though, because I'd like to go to Central. I don't know if I've ever been to New York in the winter. I've been to New York in the summer.
Did it smell terrible?
Not where I was. So I guess that kind of proves my point on the opposite side. So yeah, I'd have to go to summer, but it would look cool in the winter. I would like to go in the winter.
Right.
I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool to get like all the snow and like they have snowball fights. I'm sure there's like a massive one in Central Park.
It's an ordeal to go in the winter.
I mean, I don't know. You gotta.
So what?
It's an ordeal to go in the winter.
Yeah, you gotta bring a lot more stuff, bring a lot more clothes.
It's true.
I don't even think I own a winter jacket.
Not like that. Yeah, I don't own one like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be fun to go anywhere up north in the wintertime. Or not even in the wintertime. It's just always cold up north. You could go there anytime. Like we went to Maine, and Maine was super cold.
So cold.
It's just like I can't even imagine Maine in the winter. I just don't want to know.
My dad grew up in Maine, and he'd tell me like sometimes it'd snow, and he'd open the door, and the snow would fill up the entire height of the doorway. It's like in his backyard, and he told me sometimes like him and his neighbors would make tunnels through their backyard.
That's really cool.
And they just walk through it.
Yeah, my dad told me that they like him and like you like as adults, like as young adults, when he was like 28, like living in Maine, like when we used to live there, they would like jump out of the second story into the snow because it was like 5 feet of snow. They said it was like literally just like landing and you're in the snow.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, yeah, that would be so cool.
See, that's what makes me want to like
is
go
the best
up
part,
north.
yeah.
Like you get there, you're like, man, I can't drive anywhere.
See, I'm saying I would jump off the Empire State Building and I would land in 1 foot of snow. But it'd be like the little like the pool effects, you know what I'm talking about? People can like land in the pool.
Yeah, they belly flop into it. I'm saying if you did that, you would die.
I disagree. I simply disagree.
I'm saying I'm not stopping you from trying it. I'm just saying I don't think that would work out well for you. Anyways, you want to talk about Christmas? I think you're just kind of done with it.
I think we're done with it.
You think we're done with it? I think that's going to wrap it up. I think we've already asked you the question that we ask most people, but we'd like to get you on record for it. So we have one final question. Diego.
So what are your favorite Starburst flavors in order? You have 4 choices of pink, yellow, orange, and red.
Pink is my favorite. I think it's red, orange, yellow.
Pink, red, orange, yellow.
Pink, red, orange, yellow.
You got like that's like the pretty standard one. I think that's that's the general consensus. I believe.
I'd have to try them all again. I'm not big on Starburst.
That's something that we're going to start doing. Is we're going to start putting out Starbursts on the table and like having even numbers of Starbursts in each color, and then seeing which one people eat. So that way we don't even have to ask the question. Really, we'll just point it out at the end and be like, by the way, it seems like you like pink Starbursts or whatever.
I'm sure listeners would love that. It's just that.
It's true.
Right in your ear.
Yeah, no, who doesn't like that sound? I think that's like one of the more popular sounds.
That's true.
So that's what we should do for the rest of the podcast.
I agree, yeah.
Okay, no, we don't need to do that. I can't stand that sound. All right, Mentzer, so where can the people check you out if they wanted to hear more from you or see more of you? If you don't want them to check you out anywhere, that's fine. You can put out someone else's.
I mean, you know, come down and see me at Clouds Brewery. That's where I started working every day.
Tip your waiters.
Yeah, tip them all good.
Oh, we didn't even talk about all your waiting experiences. Oh, goodness. I completely forgot about that.
Tip all your waiters good. And,
especially Clouds Brewing.
And my current residence is Valentine. My future residence is Brigade. And after that, who knows?
Well said. So remember, you can check us out on Epic Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, anywhere else, all those places. Our schedule will come out on Tuesday and Saturday at 10 a.m., barring any technical difficulties. Sorry about that. Diego's taken over this week because I was away. And of course, he just messed everything up. So now I'm back. Normalcy should return. We should be back on that schedule. Probably not, actually. Let's see. What else do we
make sure to rate the podcast on iTunes. That helps us grow. Other than that,
we're going to be going out to Crossfire by Stephanie. Is it even working? JK. I don't think we're Nice. Okay. Well, you know, we don't need music. It's okay. So thank you for listening. Remember to live long, live epic.